Hey everyone, dear friends. This is Drake on the Crime Story Diaries channel. Today we'll be examining a disturbing case, so I invite you to watch the video. Don't forget to leave your comments and likes. Carlos Henrique Medeiros, a Brazilian YouTuber with an audience of nearly 2 million subscribers, gained recognition for his successful career. However, his sudden disappearance on Christmas 2023 puzzled his family and the residents of the city of Itapecerica da Serra. The search for Carlos led to one of the most incredible and mysterious stories of 2024, filled with prohibited substances, passion, despair, and deceit. What really happened to Carlos Medeiros? What facts are known at this point? Carlos, born in 1997 in Itapecerica da Serra, was known as a restless prankster since childhood. He loved teasing family members, especially his sisters and goddaughter. Despite this, Carlos genuinely loved his family and had wonderful relationships with his relatives. In his youth, he was often seen in the company of his sisters, although sometimes he got on their nerves. Carlos had a particularly close relationship with his father, Antonio. They went to soccer matches together and played pranks. Over time, Carlos became a popular YouTuber. His channel, founded in June 2015, gained a wide audience thanks to numerous videos of pranks on his sisters. Although he was known online as Henrique Medeiros, his first name was actually Carlos. His passion for pranks and filming manifested itself from a young age. Carlos always carried a camera with him, capturing jokes and tricks with his family and friends. He had a natural talent for creating interesting video content and generating viral ideas. Having a lot of interesting material, Carlos decided to create his own YouTube channel, where he published videos of his regular pranks. Luckily for him, the channel quickly gained popularity during a period when prank content and social experiments dominated the platform. Those who have been working on YouTube for a long time remember the days when pranks were the most popular type of video. Understanding the formula needed for success, Carlos focused on creating videos that garnered the most views. In Brazil, the demand for such content was rapidly growing, and Carlos took the opportunity to fill this niche. While English-language prank channels were getting millions of views, hardly anyone was doing it on such a scale in Portuguese. Carlos became one of the best Brazilian YouTuber pranksters. Carlos's videos covered a wide range of pranks, from running from the police and kissing to stealing from neighbors, pranking his father, and sexualizing girlfriends and family members. Judging by the thumbnails, his target audience was teenage boys, who made up a significant share of YouTube viewers in South America. Regardless of the attitude towards the content, fans watched Carlos's videos with enthusiasm. At the beginning of his YouTube career, Carlos often featured family members, friends, and especially his father Antonio in his videos. Their shared laughter and jokes vividly demonstrated the warm relationship between father and son. Carlos was proud of Antonio and regularly posted their photos on Instagram. Even when his son tried to prank him to get a reaction, Antonio invariably showed patience. He fully supported Carlos at the start of his YouTube journey. Thanks to a successful formula, nothing could stop Carlos's meteoric rise on YouTube. In a few years, his channel amassed a huge audience, 1.8 million subscribers and over 23 million views. Now, Carlos was known not only for pranks, but also for vlogs and other videos about his life. Most of the videos were meant to shock viewers, and perhaps that's why his most popular video was titled, "I checked how disobedient my cousin is, and everything went wrong." It garnered almost 10 million views. Carlos's popularity grew not only on YouTube, but also on Instagram and Facebook. His Instagram profile provided an opportunity to peek into his personal life and once again demonstrate how much he loved his father. The father and son began creating joint humorous sketches on Instagram, focusing on the positive relationship between them. Antonio made funny memes about the family. The two were inseparable, but they had no idea that 2023 would bring unbearable heartache and put an end to Carlos's career. Behind the scenes, Antonio was fighting a severe illness. Unfortunately, shortly after the new year, he passed away. Friends said that it completely devastated Carlos, turning the once bright and ambitious young man into a sad and depressed shadow of himself. At that moment, Carlos completely abandoned his YouTube career. Without his father, all his energy and determination seemed to evaporate. Seeking salvation from the endless nightmare, Carlos turned to prohibited substances. Although he continued to occasionally see his old friends, he now also spent time with new acquaintances. They all had one thing in common: drug use. Throughout 2023, Carlos immersed himself deeper and deeper into this dark world. Carlos's Instagram photos testified to his deep sorrow for his father and his inability to come to terms with the loss. In February 2023, he posted a photo with the caption, "Rest in peace, Dad. I hope to meet you again soon. You taught me everything except how to live without you." Later, he wrote, "Today is Friday. Without you, the world has lost its charm. I thought nothing could shake me. But losing you is like losing myself. I no longer exist. It's only a matter of time." In July 2023, 6 months after Antonio's death, Carlos shared another joint video with the caption, "Missing the best father in the world, friend, partner, mentor. One day we will be together again. I hope it happens soon." Even a year later, Carlos still couldn't recover from the loss. However, the family was struck by a new grief and mystery. On Christmas, Henrique Medeiros himself disappeared. Carlos's sister Cristiana became worried when her brother hadn't been in touch for a long time, which was very unusual. She realized that despite her own grief over losing her father, her brother's disappearance was a very alarming sign. Cristiana knew how hard Carlos was taking Antonio's death and how destructive his behavior was. The sister said that she last saw him on Christmas morning when they were watching fireworks with the whole family and friends in the city square. Carlos told his sister that he was going to celebrate Christmas, not with his family, but with new friends. Although it saddened Cristiana, she wasn't surprised. However, when her brother didn't show up the next day, the sister realized that he probably needed help. Carlos's disappearance during Christmas dinner was absolutely uncharacteristic of him. Despite her fears, Cristiana managed to rally the family, and they began searching for Carlos all over the city, checking hospitals and the outskirts. Unfortunately, even after an exhausting day of searching, he was nowhere to be found. Anxiety grew with every hour of Carlos's unusually long silence. That's when his sister desperately posted a message about his disappearance on Instagram. She recalled that before disappearing, Carlos was going to stay with friends who lived just a few minutes from their home. This was an important clue for the search. These friends turned out to be 28-year-old Renan Gus and his 24-year-old wife, Carolyn Milo. When asked about Carlos, they told the family that he had left shortly after dinner, and they hadn't heard from him since. Despite the lack of information about Carlos's whereabouts, the couple seemed to be ready to help with the search. However, without any solid leads, the young man's disappearance remained a mystery. It seemed that no one had the slightest idea what had happened to Carlos. For a week, family and friends combed the area to no avail. Renan and Carolyn, who were the last to see Carlos, joined the search and even asked for help on social media. However, with each passing day, the despair of the searchers only grew. Carlos seemed to have vanished into thin air. Despite the general confusion, many of Carlos's childhood friends didn't believe that he could disappear of his own free will, given all his troubles. And some even distrusted the couple with whom Carlos was last seen. In particular, Carlos's friend named Robson Casimiro had suspicions about Renan and Carolyn. He suspected that the couple was lying to the police and hiding important information. On New Year's Eve, Robson decided to investigate Renan and Carolyn's house on his own. He planned to start with the garden and then look in the windows. However, while examining the yard, Robson noticed a suspicious mound of freshly dug earth. Coming closer, the young man nearly fainted from what he saw. Gripped by horror and despair, Robson saw Carlos's t-shirt sticking out of the ground. He immediately called the police. The law enforcement officers who arrived at the scene discovered something much worse than just buried clothing. Despite the fact that Renan and Carolyn had supposedly been helping the family search for Carlos for a whole week, his body had been in the garden near their house the entire time. Now that the truth was revealed, all eyes were on this couple. things took a sharp turn for the worse for Renan and Carolyn. It became obvious that they had been lying to the family and the police throughout the week, and now they had to come up with a more plausible story. Here's what is known at this point. According to the couple, Carlos came to their place not only for Christmas dinner, but also for drug use. Allegedly, after a few doses, Carlos began hitting on Carolyn's 16-year-old sister, and soon the two of them went to the bathroom to have sex. Renan and Carolyn claimed that during intercourse, when Carlos was already approaching climax, he suddenly felt unwell. He lost consciousness and died right in front of the frightened girl. The couple insisted that they checked Carlos's pulse, but his heart was no longer beating. Despite attempts to revive the young man for 3 hours, it was to no avail. Of course, such a version of events contained very serious accusations against Carlos. However, this story was made up by two people who had already proven their ability to deceive. At the moment, the exact cause of Carlos's death is unknown. It is quite possible that a combination of hard drugs and sexual overexertion played a fatal role, leading to cardiac complications. Renan and Carolyn claimed that they were so shocked and frightened by Carlos's sudden death that they couldn't think straight. Instead of calling an ambulance or going to the police, they decided to bury the body on their property. And it is this detail that raises the most doubts about their story. If the couple were completely innocent, why get involved in concealing a corpse? After Carlos's death, Renan and Carolyn forced the 16-year-old sister to help them move the body. At night, they dug a shallow grave, put Carlos there in the morning, covered it up again, and then pretended for a whole week that they were searching for him along with the family. They looked the young man's relatives in the eye and lied that they knew nothing about his whereabouts. To make their deception even more convincing, the couple even posted on social media, urging people to provide any information about their missing friend. Currently, the investigation is trying to find out whether Renan and Carolyn's version can be trusted, or if something much darker is behind it. The head of the SGGO Paulo police, Louis Foray, reported that the preliminary examination of the body revealed no traces of gunshot or stab wounds or strangulation. An official autopsy is currently underway, and the results will determine what charges will be brought. If Carlos's death is recognized as an accident, the couple will be charged with concealing a corpse. But if the autopsy shows that it was murder, Renan and Carolyn face a much more serious punishment. While the police continue their investigation, Carlos's family is shocked and outraged. Renan and Carolyn were people from their circle whom they trusted, and now it turned out that these two had been lying to their faces. Carlos's sister Cristiana is sure that the couple is hiding much more than they say, and that her brother's death was not a mere accident. "If he really felt sick, why didn't they call an ambulance?" Cristiana asks. It became clear that some of the locals were craving immediate revenge. When the police confirmed the couple's arrest, an angry crowd headed to their house. Renan and Carolyn nearly paid with their lives when enraged people tried to burn down their house. And although the flames did not completely destroy the building, traces of soot and fire remained on all the walls. Some even videotaped it happening. Despite the emotions of the crowd, it was an extremely reckless decision. It is quite likely that the material evidence that could confirm or refute the couple's guilt in Carlos's death burned down along with the house. And although the arsonists have not yet been detained, this incident may further complicate the investigation. Now everything depends on the results of the toxicological examination of Carlos's body. They will show whether there were drugs in his system at the time of death. If so, then Renan and Carolyn's version may be close to the truth, and they will be charged with only concealing a corpse. Perhaps they were simply afraid that calling the police would lead to the discovery of prohibited substances in their home. Moreover, as the head of the investigative team noted, Renan probably knew that a drug possession charge would cost him custody of his 3 children and pregnant wife. An alternative scenario is that one of the couple could have experienced a drug-induced psychosis and, in a fit of madness, killed Carlos. The version about a self-serving motive cannot be ruled out either, because Carlos had a successful career on YouTube and considerable wealth. And it is also possible that the arson of the house was arranged by someone who was also involved in the murder and wanted to destroy evidence. In any case, the investigation has a lot to work on. It is not yet known how this chilling story will end. Whatever really happened that fatal night, the local community reacted instantly and cruelly, and although there is no official verdict yet, people have already managed to condemn Renan and Carolyn for Carlos's death. Fellow villagers remember him as a bright, intelligent, and enthusiastic young man who faced a terrible ordeal. His father's death pushed Carlos onto the slippery path of self-destruction, and he never managed to get off it. Carlos Henrique Medeiros' YouTube channel remains a kind of digital memorial, a collection of vivid memories. The same goes for his social media accounts, filled with photos and posts that testify to the young man's boundless love for his father. Unfortunately, Carlos never managed to recover from Antonio's death. In one of his last posts, he seemed to predict his own departure into oblivion. One day, we will be together again. I hope it happens soon. And although the fulfillment of this wish took the young man's life, he finally found the long-awaited peace next to his dearest person.